I think we need to give it its 13 minutes and really just acknowledge what is changing in the game for the better, but its impact it's going to have just overall on the game. So I think it's great for podcast listeners to just hear the narrative and kind of hear the whys directly from the source. That's always been Beyond the Verse, Star Citizen podcasts, like what do you call it? Like foundational principle. Like I will always go to the source. I will not go through Reddit. I will not go through any other articles. Anything you hear from me is directly from the website. So this is appropriate in my opinion. So let's get into the video. I'm going to screen share and we'll go into it. Here we go.
Port Olisar was first introduced alongside the Persistent Universe in Star Citizen Alpha 2.0, and it holds a special place in the hearts of many who remember those earliest days of Tessa Bannister, comms array missions, and of course the old Big Benny's challenge. But as Star Citizen's development continues to expand and evolve life in the PU, Port Olisar has fallen behind in its ability to support the game systems of today, later this year, and certainly beyond. But now there's a new kid on the playground looking to take its role and its job, if not its place in our hearts, and it's scheduled to arrive in the upcoming Alpha 320.
It looks beautiful. I want to pause it here. It looks beautiful. They tried their best. I'm getting ahead of the video, but they tried their best to pay homage to the original Port Olisar. So you're going to see the rings. It's just longer, and you'll hear kind of the why, but it's going to have the same play loops added to this as all the other orbital stations have as well. So let's get back to the video.
Port Olisar was our first space station that we put into Star Citizen. It's gone through some minor changes, but for the most part, it's really stayed the same. Just a quick, easy, get in, get out space station. When it was first conceived, basically, it was really just a way for the players to spawn into the solar system.
It's also the #1 place that content creators use to tour their ships. So that's kind of a funny aside. I'm going to be interested to see what, what's his name? Subliminal. I'm going to be interested to see what Subliminal uses, as now the orbital station doesn't exist anymore.
So we had to think about how many habitation halves went in there. We had to think about the stores that were needed, and then a way for players to spawn in their ships. I think that people like it just because it's get in, get out, you know, and there's that kind of feel. There's no transit loops. There's nothing there that basically extends the timeline and the gameplay. And for the most part, it has all the shops the average person needs, you know, armor shop, FPS shop. There's a ship item shop there as well. I think the initial implementation of Port Olisar, you know, did everything that we needed it to do, checked all the boxes. But obviously, as the game has evolved and changed over time, like, we needed to adjust it. We've added medical gameplay, we've added cargo, and unfortunately, Port Olisar doesn't support any of those game loops, so it became apparent that we need to start investigating a way to change it or adjust it and bring it up to speed.
Seraphim Station is the official name for what we've been calling Olisar 2.0.
And I don't know why, but the name bothers me. So Seraph is an angelic figure that is in the Christian faith. That's part of like the highest echelon of angels. So it's kind of a religious overtone. And so Seraphim is the multiple, that's the plural of that. So I'm trying to think like what reference are they trying to make with a religious term? I don't know why that's not bothering me from like a, let's go debate it. But like I wish I knew kind of the why. I'm a huge person when it comes to names. I love naming ships. I love like the why behind naming something. So Seraphim is kind of bothering me right now. But all right, so back to the video.
Internally for quite a while now. What we initially set out to do is to create this really grand space station with a really fantastic sense of scale that players could have a really good time flying in and around and also to and from. So we had a really good time playing around with different design languages and shape languages that we could then use to come together for the final product. We were also working on lots of shape studies involving the silhouette of the station to make sure it was reminiscent of other stations and also to bring our own unique spin on it.
Seraphim Station is a homage to Port Alisar in the way that it looks. We're keeping the rings, and but then it's also taking all of the existing Leo Station gameplay and bringing that over to that station.
It's much larger and much more extravagant than anything that we've done before in terms of our space station kit. But this is utilizing the kit in the way that we haven't before, and it's created much more unique identity for it than anything else, I think.
Yeah, that's huge.
I think the gameplay around it is going to be very cool, specifically just, seeing it for the first time, approaching it. There's multiple hangars, view rooms all over the station, providing you with, beautiful views of the planet at the right time of day. Extremely large station, probably 4 to 5 times bigger than Alisar. So we have everything that you could possibly need inside. It has various sets of hangars and habs in the center of the first 2 rings. And those are going to be where players are going to be landing their ships, collecting their ships, and the general gameplay that occurs over there. Then towards the back end of the ship, we have the cargo area, which is going to incorporate that gameplay as well. So this is how we sort of mixed and matched all of these together to create something a little bit more unique. We also have docking tubes.
As an Amazon employee for 10 years, I hit 11 in November. My first job at Amazon was a fulfillment center operations manager. So like anytime they talk about like the warehouse or the cargo or any of that game loop, like that excites me. I don't know why. Like I can find myself completely negating like the bounty hunter loop. I don't necessarily like. I'm not good at dogfighting. I'm just not. I know my limitation, and that's it. I'm great at FPS. I'm great at mercenary missions, but I think the kind of the calm labor of the storage missions or the cargo run missions, I think that's going to be where I settle down at. It's probably why my organization's called Soul Provision. Back to the video.
Tubes and everything else that players could need to traverse along this big structure.
It has the medical clinic areas, it has cargo, everything there that's needed to support all of our careers that are being developed and growing.
The whole need for this station was that we're trying to have a focus on and introduce bounty gameplay into each station as much as we can. So each station also has a security dock integrated into it as well. That is going to be where all of the bounty gameplay is going to be happening, and you're going to be directed towards that. And so it will be the replacement, so to speak, for Alisar. Alisar is not going anywhere. We know what a historical thing it is for the players.
We will pay proper homage to it later. And we were trying to find ways to basically send it off. Obviously, I think if we did a new space station and just renamed it Port Alisar, the old Port Alisar that they loved then just goes away completely. But basically, for right now, we need to remove it, and then we'll be putting in Seraphim Station in its place, and then in the future we'll talk about what we're going to do with Port Alisar.
I have a great idea for it, and I think it's been shared among some individuals on Twitter for sure, but I think you should crash that into a planet. Now, you can't crash it into a gas planet. Like, it makes no sense for it to go into Crusader, but crash it into, and now that I'm saying it out loud, I don't know how it would ever get anywhere near any other planet, but make it a derelict site. I think that would be amazing. Like, keep its space and size and just lawn dart that into a planet's surface and just let us explore it. Right? Just let it be one of those javelins you can explore in Daymar. Like, how cool would that be?
So the way that we set up our LEO stations, all of them are future-proofed and allow us to add new modules to them via our internal transit loop, and the way that we set up the object containers within the game and load. And this is also becoming future-proof for when we add new things to the station. Port Alisar, it was so small, there was no place to add or grow, and there was no transit loops so that we can fill and block off or open new loops to get to new areas. And with Seraphim, this allows us to continue that same thought process and to get everything that we need to give to the player in that area, either things that Ryzen is missing or things that Grim Hex might be missing. This allows us to basically make sure that the player has a local area and a local space station to acquire anything that they might need. So as new careers come online, whether that be bounty hunter or exploration or other things, this opens new ways for us to actually go in and add new decks, new content. So Seraphim actually fixes all of that. The Hull C is coming, and with the cargo decks and the gameplay that we needed to load the Hull C, we felt that this was the right time to introduce it to the game.
I don't think you can say it's better station than Port Alisar. I think like Port Alisar has become a monument to the players, and it's got its own value. That I think we tried to honor that as much as possible. And I think we tried to create our own take on that as much as possible. So I like to think that we ended up something that we were all very happy with. I wouldn't say it is better than Alisar, no.
For marketing purposes, it's better.
For marketing purposes, it's absolutely 100% 3 times better than Alisar, statistically.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that Port Olisar's days are numbered when that new hotness Seraphim Station comes online in the upcoming Alpha 320. That it'll be home to all the present-day amenities and capabilities current space stations have to offer. And of course, be better set up for future developments, cargo, bounty hunting, and all the other commercial and industrial gameplay systems that'll continue to evolve in subsequent patches later this year. We also want to give a big shout out to some massive bar citizens that have happened over the last 2 weeks, including those near each
I'm actually in one of these
Los
photos.
Angeles, Austin.
Boom! All right. I'm right there. Look at this guy. Look at this guy just chilling. All right. Paul's also in here. Let's see if I can find Paul. You got Boomer, right? So Boomer Fett. We got him. We've got... here's Jake Acapella, right? Where is Galactica actually taking the photo? I think that's the... Okay. So they got Miss Buster. We got Buster right here. Where is Paul? Paul, where are you, buddy? I want to make sure I highlight him. Where is he? There you, way in the back. Here you go. Here's Paul. So just a really good photo of the Austin, Texas bar citizen experience. Back to the video.
Montreal, Manchester, Frankfurt, as well as some absolutely enormous ones in Shanghai with roughly 1,500 people, followed by Hong Kong, And if I'm not mistaken, Incheon, South Korea coming up this Saturday, Paris the Saturday after that, and then of course, my absolute favorite each and every year, Cologne, Germany for Gamescom. It's a terrific way to celebrate a birthday, I can promise you that. And while we're talking celebrations, CitizenCon, the big live in-person event, is returning after a 4-year hiatus this year with a 2-day event in my hometown of Los Angeles. It's your chance to meet your favorite developers and fellow citizens in person and pitch which ship you think should be made next directly to John Cruz's face, or even how you think a particular gameplay system should work directly into Todd Pappy's eyes. They're not allowed to leave. They legally have to stand there and listen. General tickets are on sale today, and you can check the website for details on the when and the what for. And as for me, it's that time of year where ISC goes on hiatus. We're going to take a few weeks to recharge some batteries, give the devs a break from having to fake appendicitis every time they see me coming, and plot out the next quarter's worth of weekly content. If you've been around for a while, you know what Q3 heading into CitizenCon is like. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here in about a month.
Very cool. Yeah, so thanks for hanging out with me while we watched that video. I think the biggest takeaway for me is the future proofing